Greetings, dear subscribers and casual listeners of my channel. Have you ever thought about what made Bellatrix Lestrange so insanely devoted and terrifying? What if her madness had a logical explanation, rooted in deep psychological wounds? In today's video, you will find out the shocking truth behind her descent into darkness. The world of Harry Potter is filled with unforgettable characters. Some are noble heroes, others complex and layered, and then there are those who leave a lasting impression as villains. Bellatrix Lestrange was not just another Death Eater. She was Voldemort's most fanatical follower, a witch whose very presence radiated chaos. Played brilliantly by Helena Bonham Carter in the films, Bellatrix was more than just a servant of the Dark Lord. She was a force of destruction, a zealot who sometimes even outmatched Voldemort himself in her ruthlessness. But why was she like that? What made her so erratic, so violent, so completely unhinged? Let's dive into her past and uncover the truth. Born into the prestigious House of Black, Bellatrix was raised with a deep sense of superiority. Her family saw themselves as pure-blood aristocracy, looking down on Muggleborns and even other wizards who didn't share their beliefs. From childhood, she was taught that power and bloodline mattered above all else. At Hogwarts, she was sorted into Slytherin, where she mingled with future Death Eaters like Lucius Malfoy. But while others hesitated, Bellatrix embraced Voldemort's ideology without question. She didn't just follow him, she worshipped him. Her loyalty knew no limit. She tortured Neville Longbottom's parents into insanity, never betrayed Voldemort even in Azkaban, and returned to his side the moment she escaped. Until her final breath in the Battle of Hogwarts, she remained his most dangerous enforcer. But what truly made her this way? Some believe it was Azkaban. Years spent in the wizarding prison surrounded by Dementors could have shattered what little sanity she had left. The constant exposure to despair and darkness might have turned her into something even more monstrous than before. Others point to unrequited love. Yes, Bellatrix was obsessed with Voldemort, not just as a leader, but as a man. While she was married to another Death Eater, it was Voldemort she truly loved. But he was incapable of love, and her desperate need to prove herself to him only drove her deeper into madness. She committed atrocities, hoping to earn his approval, but all she ever received was cold indifference. There's even a controversial theory that Bellatrix bore Voldemort's child, Delphi, as introduced in The Cursed Child. But whether or not that's canon remains up for debate. One thing is certain, Bellatrix Lestrange was not just a villain. She was a tragic figure consumed by devotion, madness, and a desperate need for validation. And that perhaps is what makes her one of the most chilling characters in the Harry Potter universe. Bellatrix Lestrange wasn't just cruel, she thrived on chaos. Unlike other Death Eaters who followed Voldemort out of fear or ambition, she followed him with an almost religious fervor. Her devotion wasn't calculated, it was raw, obsessive, and terrifyingly real. She never hesitated, never wavered, and never questioned his word. But what shaped her into this person? Her childhood played a crucial role. Growing up in the House of Black meant being raised with rigid beliefs. Blood purity wasn't just a family value, it was an obsession. Bellatrix was taught that Muggles were inferior, that half-bloods were tainted, and that power was meant only for the worthy. In this environment, compassion was weakness. Her family expected her to be strong, ruthless, and loyal to their cause. And she delivered. At Hogwarts, she found like-minded students in Slytherin. While others were drawn to Voldemort's promises of power, she was drawn to him. His ideology became her own. He wasn't just a leader, he was a god. Bellatrix wasn't content with merely following orders. She wanted to prove herself. And she did. Her marriage to Rodolphus Lestrange was a formality. The Black family arranged it to preserve their bloodline, but Bellatrix never cared for him. She had no interest in being a wife. Her heart belonged elsewhere, to a man who would never return her love. Voldemort wasn't capable of love, but Bellatrix didn't care. She lived to serve him, to impress him, to be his most loyal follower. Her crimes were beyond horrific. The torture of Frank and Alice Longbottom wasn't just about information, it was about loyalty. She wanted to prove her worth, to show that she was willing to do whatever it took for her master. Even when she was captured, she refused to beg for mercy. Unlike other Death Eaters who pleaded for their lives, Bellatrix stood defiant. She laughed in the face of her captors, boasting that the Dark Lord would return and reward her. Azkaban changed her. The Dementors drained the life out of most prisoners, but Bellatrix seemed to embrace the madness. She didn't lose her identity, she became something even darker. When she finally escaped, she emerged more dangerous than ever. Others had lost faith in Voldemort. She never had. Her reunion with him was almost religious. While others hesitated in their loyalty, she knelt before him, trembling with devotion. For her, nothing else mattered. She had spent years suffering in prison, but the moment he touched her shoulder, it was all worth it. She had his attention, and that was all she ever wanted. Her cruelty only escalated. Killing became a game. Her duel with Sirius Black wasn't just another battle, it was personal. She wanted him dead, and she wanted to enjoy it. When she struck him with the killing curse, she didn't react with cold detachment like Voldemort might have. She celebrated, she laughed, she took pleasure in his death. Her obsession with Voldemort reached its peak. She was no longer just his most loyal follower. She was the closest thing he had to a fanatic. When she dueled Hermione, Ginny, and Luna in the Battle of Hogwarts, she wasn't just fighting enemies. She was defending the cause, the belief that had defined her entire existence. But then came the moment she never expected. She had faced powerful wizards before, she had survived countless battles, but she had never faced someone like Molly Weasley. Bellatrix underestimated her. She saw Molly as weak, as nothing more than a protective mother. But in that final duel, Bellatrix met her match. Molly's fury was not reckless, it was precise. She fought not with hatred, but with love. And for the first time, Bellatrix was the one who panicked. She wasn't laughing anymore. Her death was quick, almost anticlimactic. The woman who had spent her life causing destruction, who had thrived on pain and chaos, was gone in an instant. No grand speech, no last words, just an empty body hitting the floor. Even in death, Bellatrix remained a mystery. Some saw her as a monster, others as a tragic figure consumed by obsession. Was she born evil, or was she made that way? Could she have been different if she had been raised in a different family, or was her fate sealed from the start? One thing is certain. She left her mark. In a world filled with dangerous witches and wizards, Bellatrix Lestrange stood apart. Not because she was the strongest, not because she was the smartest, but because she was the most devoted. And in the end, that devotion was her downfall.